Okay. Hello, everyone. We are back with ESA Marathon. You're watching Break the Record live event where, over the course of 3 days, 7 runners attempt to break the record for Dark Souls Remastered for a $5,000 prize pool that Kaspersky has so generously provided for this event. We are back with our community casters, Red and Captain, and we are watching two No Reset runs play out by Gentov and Minitus, who still have to set their standings for the day, which you'll see at the bottom portion of the screen, and the other runners who are in their grind phase of the event, where they're trying to break the record and just get the best possible runs that they can. So, oh yeah, Iron Boy pulled up right now, who's on the Nito and Pinwheel segments.
Yeah, and he's still doing really good. Still a minute ahead of his personal best. Not even the no reset run he did earlier, but actually his personal best. So we're looking at a potential PB run here.
That must be exciting for Iron Boy to just
Yeah,
have an event that
Oh, he's doing Dark Beat Nito. Oh, it is. Is it because of the different route? Does he not have Soul Spears?
I'm not sure if it's not that he doesn't have Soul Spear, because I haven't been paying attention to it, but there is slightly routing differences that he has in his, where he's doing Priscilla and Gwendolyn late in the run.
Mm-hmm.
Gargoyles late in the run too.
Yeah, and Minch is actually after death to Ones, I believe, just doing slow and auto skip again.
Yeah.
That guy takes no peach, even in a reset run.
Maybe it's the mentality that you kind of need when you're doing an event like this, where you kind of just always need to go for optimal strats, or maybe that's what he's telling himself.
Yeah, I'm getting Speedsouls Marathon flashbacks with the Dark Souls bosses run.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
But this is the scariest part of the run, the first 18 minutes. And ONS is one of the biggest killers.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, does he not have RTSR?
I think he's just shy of it. Hold on, let's pull up Minitius run here really quickly. See how...
Yeah.
Okay.
Just shy of
the weird setup.
Oh my god, Monka Shake.
Oh yeah.
Okay, hopefully ONS goes better this time. Wait, is it his first time? Did he die elsewhere?
He must have died elsewhere. When we broke away for a break, there were his...
No. Oh my god.
That was risky. As you can tell, Red and Cap have their own experiences with speedruns, so...
nightmares.
Yeah, you can tell when things are not going right, and it's a little bit scary to watch. Unfortunate for Minitius. He'll have to go through that segment again, and I guess we'll find out if he's going to do the Silver Knight Archer skip again. So we have Old School right now. Gonna pull up Old School stream. They're doing Priscilla and Gwendolyn 45 minutes into their run.
Yeah.
What is
with the can I meet ring strat?
Yeah, several people actually have done that strat today. I believe Old School's done it. I'm not sure if I can't remember Dan, but I know also Kata.
Yeah, Kata does it as well.
Does prefer this method as well. Talk to me about how to set up different RTSR ranges in this category. There's several formats of doing so, and just in different areas.
You mean different setups across the run?
Yeah, just briefly.
Yeah, so I guess you can have the easiest would probably be just gravity RTSR setups. That's when you just have fall damage that you need to take anyways on your way to the boss, and you just end up having RTSRs thanks to that. That's pretty convenient, like they do on their way to ONS, for example. They just jump over the railing and take falling damage. But you can also do ring swaps by using the Dusk Ring, which halves your HP. And the good thing about that is that when your HP is halved, it's still considered your HP to be full. and fall damage is like percentage based in this game, and so you take more falling damage if you have the like proportionally after when you remove the ring, you take more falling damage. Otherwise, if you don't have falling damage at your disposal, then you use enemies to get hit by, like with the painting. Like with an arrow for Priscilla, for example. So you can have like multiple versions, but usually it also depends on what you do. If you take a bonfire, if you decide to play it safe, sometimes you can't. Because you can also do that. For example, you set up RTSR for Guardian with Gravity, and then you just keep that RTSR for Artorias. But if you take the bonfire, then you would have to like find another setup and stuff like that.
And a lot of runners have different like backup setups in case something goes wrong with the initial RTSR setup. Like, just to find it and like craft another way to get into that range. Because how much slower are these fights if, let's say, you had to enter one without the RTSR range?
I guess it depends on your build and stuff, but usually it changes quite a lot. It depends also on the boss, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I'm not
for
even
example,
sure if Grapple Mage has enough damage to kill Minus without
yeah, exactly.
without
Like
RTSR.
you have like 8 soul spears and you use 7, I think. So sometimes you get bot RNG, and with RTSR you just end up using Great Heavy Soul Arrow instead. But yeah, for Grapple Mage you can't really, some of the fights you can't do without RTSR. So it's not that it's slower, it's that it's impossible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh yeah, we just saw Chantoffer running out of Soul Spears on Artorias there, trying to cast it and getting this the
The
out of
shrug.
cast animation,
Yeah.
killing him. Yeah, that's why.
That sucks for Gentov. This has not been an easy reset run for him.
Yeah, it's not going well for me. He got a Guardian Gold though, so I guess that's a
But
shimmer of hope.
So this is a new category for Gentov, and I'm just hoping throughout the event that like his old like remastered experience comes through to help him out with this. But it can't be easy, because I think there's some parts of this run in particular that could be rough to like recover from.
Yeah, definitely.
I see Minity is actually going back to ONS now for a third attempt, I believe. Let's hope Minity is actually has...
Doesn't take the bonfire, so dying is actually very, very costly for him.
Is there a reason, do you think, he's not taking the bonfire? Is it just like a lapse of like judgment there, or just trying to do optimal strats?
Yeah, I guess because he wants to PB ultimately. I guess he doesn't want to do strats that he will just not do on their next run.
To
Yeah,
kind of
would be
rely on
good.
that as a crutch.
Yeah, I guess he prefers just relying on one route and just go with that, whatever happens. I assume that's because personally, I'm also not a fan of that when I do like races and stuff, and I'm not a fan of like routes with variable outcomes. You know, like, oh, if this happens, do that and stuff. So I guess you just want to stick to the fastest route.
I feel that's fair. I feel like I'm some kind of similar that way as well. When I want to learn things and execute things in a run, I like the optimal strats first. And sometimes maybe you're more comfortable with the optimal strats rather than an alternate strat that even you would do for like safety purposes.
Yeah.
But a bonfire is just purely a choice there, taking it or not taking it.
Yeah, this one actually worked out for him as well.
Yeah,
so
it did.
Got past it at last.
I feel like this probably will put a lot of weight off his shoulders, so he can just proceed with the rest of the run. There's a bottleneck for him for sure.
Well, yeah, he has a big chunk of time to save there on his next run. That's something to look forward to.
It's nice to have splits to run against that are easy, like to get into the green and gold. Definitely something to look forward to. I'm going to pull up Iron Boy's run here, because
Sure. He's in the last stretch.
Yeah. I mean, other than Priscilla and Gwendolyn, but those should go relatively fast.
Hopefully.
Yeah, as long as you don't get the moan glitch.
Gwendolyn often it's kind of an annoying run killer because of his attacks, but I think if he does the stretch with their Great Magic Shield, it really reduces the RNG there because you can. There's one attack of Gridlon we used to just wait out, but with Great Magic Shield you can just tank it and run through. It reduces RNG a lot.
Olska was doing that just a moment ago.
Yeah.
Using the magic shield to tank most of the attacks. Hey, Matthias. Gentop actually finished up Artorias. That's nice.
Good.
Yeah, still with the homing soul mass.
He just likes the textures floating around.
You think it was an accidental cast for a second, homing soul mass there?
Sorry?
Do you think it was an accidental cast?
No, I think it just like killed.
Before.
Before. I don't think you really want to use homing soul mass outside of the opening for Artorias.
That's normally what I've seen, and then following it up.
I remember Iron Boy. Oh my god, I'm talking too fast for my own good. Will soon get to basically. Alright, Priscilla and Grim, we just talked about it, but the one boss you don't actually quote unquote fight with magic. But apparently we missed him losing a lot of time at some point during the other
Yeah. But it's interesting to see here, so I'm going to swap over actually really quickly here, because Dan is actually getting a run going right now. Past with good RNG, and is actually 4 seconds ahead.
I wasn't sure we were going to see this during this event, but here we go.
Yeah, he's gonna be behind though after RNS.
Oh yeah.
How much time is it after the quit out? Like it's 25 seconds or something until the split.
Death animation is quite a long time.
I mean, it's 11 seconds when you can bone back, but here.
Yeah, it should be somewhere in the 40s.
Oh, I guess so
it's just too long in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's 23 seconds from the quit out.
So now he's 7 seconds behind his PB. Went in being ahead.
Yeah, but with this route, honestly, like you're just more happy to get a run past ONS at all than like a really good early game, because if you really grind for good times, then you just might just not get past ONS for minutes and hours sometimes. Oh, is Minitus doing like early Capra?
Let's see.
Seems so.
Like right after ONS?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen anyone do that so far. What would be the use of doing an early Capra and Gaping Dragon?
Duck? Help!
It's an interesting choice. I kind of wonder how that works out, because like we've seen so far, Iron Boy and Mantius like have slight differences in their routing versus everyone else.
I'm not sure what's the point.
Oh,
first try.
Yeah, casting the Hallmaster, I guess, a safety measure, and if you fail it, that kills the red for you. But I got a first try.
That's interesting.
Well, okay.
Because most people just kill one of the rats in case it doesn't work out afterwards as a safety measure.
You already noted that Minchus is an absolute madman when you went for a Servant Architect the third time.
You know, I thought so at the beginning of the event. I was saying that I think Mantius is a bit of a wild card because we don't really know what to expect from him, since we're not very familiar with his runs, and it might be interesting to see what happens. Like what strats he uses compared to everyone else.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the decision to do this early.
Apparently, Dark beat Stradiman instead of Great Heavy Solaro Stradiman.
Interesting to note, we actually have 6 runners online right now. Catalyst just came back.
Catalyst came back.
Oh, nice.
After his no reset run. I think that's interesting now, because I think we almost have like the full like entire casting of runners, the 7 runners for this event, trying to break the record for Dark Souls Remastered. It's gonna be interesting to see people grind it out in this like phase of the day. Still waiting on Nax when they have availability to be able to get on to do their first no reset run.
Where's Nax? Where are you, Nax? It's 7 a.m. for you. Time to grind.
So Nax is from Canada, so that's why this schedule is a bit difficult for him.
Yeah, and Western Canada as well. So it's not just like 6 hours; it's like 9 hours compared to Central European time.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, there's good representation at this event because it's funny
Yeah.
that Speedsouls is mostly like European runners, and we have a good variety for this event. I would say.
I mean, like it used to be mostly Europeans, I think, a few years ago, but now we have like Russians and Japanese a lot. So, I mean, I guess there always has been there, but it's just that now that the community is more grouped. I don't know how to say that. Like now that we have a huge community Discord and we do events such as the Speedsouls Marathon or this one on ESA. I guess we just see each other more, but I think it always was that varied, probably.
It's also kind of nice that despite the differences between the prepared die edition and remastered, that there's more and more remastered runners coming around. So there's just more active runners in the community for the Dark Souls game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to start renting, but one of the reasons for that is the fact that you can't buy the original anymore.
Right. Exactly. But there are some differences in remastered that make it a choice for many people, other than the fact that it's no longer available on the Steam store.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
some
honestly,
people like the technical differences. Some people like that they don't have to do move swap.
Yeah.
For 60 FPS versus 30 FPS.
Like I used to think that the remaster was like a worse speedrun, and I still think it was the case when the game released, but as new strats got discovered and also exclusive glitch that only works for the remaster, I think the fact that it's different, the fact that you don't have move swap, the fact that you have 60 FPS, I think it's comfortable. Like I can get why some people would say, no, I prefer running the remaster.
I'm actually going to swap back over to Iron Boy now. Because Iron Boy is literally in his last stretch.
Oh, yeah, on the last stretch.
Mm-hmm.
At least looking to set a better event time here, if not a PB.
Let's take a look.
Can he?
Yeah, his original was a 118.
It's 118, yes. And his personal best is 108, 45 from the qualifying period. So even if it's not like a PB for him, it is a better standing in this event.
Oh, very good RNG from Gwendolyn here.
Yeah, I didn't even need to do the magic shield stretch.
Wait, so what are the split that he's running against? If his PB is 108 and he got a 118, why does he run against a 113? I'm confused.
Fire time?
Well,
I'll just
or maybe it's the PB. Maybe he got the 108 with a different route, and this is the route. The 113 is the PB with this route.
It's likely, but it seems that they've only done 10 attempted runs on these splits, so we don't really know when.
They might have just wiped his splits at some point.
Where do you see that? Oh, yeah, at the bottom. Sorry.
But yeah, now the final stretch to Gwyn. Hopefully he gets the RTSR setup from the night. It doesn't give him too much grief.
Okay, looking at Iron Boy's qualification run, I think he just wiped his splits when he changed. When he just made new English splits because his original splits were Russian.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, he made new splits for
Yeah, for the win.
Yeah, because even if Dan is also Russian, he usually streams in English, while I think Iron Boy always streams in Russian.
Yeah, he always streams in Russian. We have some of these native language only streamers. Imagine that.
Oh god, I couldn't imagine myself streaming in French, like in my native language.
Oh, to each their. Don't want to judge you. As Iron Boy is looking for 114 time, I suppose.
Yeah, mid 114 probably at this rate, or maybe even late 114.
which unfortunately is not going to push him to sixth on the event leaderboards, right?
Well, it depends on how
Jennifer-
Gentov does, because Gentov is not looking like
Gentov's time
he
will
has
be
a...
different.
Mhm.
Oh, right. The 113 is not his event run, right?
Right,
Yeah.
because Gentov is doing his first no reset run of the
Yeah.
day.
Right. I
The
forgot that.
standings, yeah, the standing of Nax and Gentov will very quickly, and Minitius will change.
So
after-
casual one shot of Gwyn. Decent damage in this route. And that's
Yeah.
good run from Iron Boy
Let's
with
see.
a
what
unfortunate time
is.
loss at the end.
Yeah, Iron Boy finishes their no reset run. Oh, not no reset run, a reset run actually. So this is their second run of the day.
Well,
They're the
technically, it
second
wasn't a
person
reset
to
run.
finish. Yeah, but that's actually really fantastic. They're the first person in the event to finish up 2 runs, and setting a new event best time of 1:14:25. That's great. It's a starting place to sort of work up towards the standing, and then just see how things fare from here, and things
Yeah.
will shift throughout the event.
So I think now we can switch to Old School because he's also at the end of his run.
Right,
Oh yeah.
not bad.
He
And it's
also different time on his splits than he has on the leaderboards.
Yeah.
So we see some
a lot of runners.
customized splits coming out.
But I
Yeah.
think for him, it's also route changes because I think he got like 102.30. I don't remember, like 1 second slower than
5.
Kata.
Yeah,
35, yes.
That
slower
was
than
record at the time. And then I think he took a break. And it's only when Kata beat his time that he came back and with a different route. So I think that's why he has different splits.
And I'm guessing he hasn't managed to, other than break the record live.
Yeah. Oh god, I forget. So I don't know if anyone mentioned it already, but Old School actually plays with mouse and keyboard, and
No, that hasn't been mentioned.
yeah. So I thought you said no, like he doesn't.
No,
play with
I didn't even notice myself.
And so yeah, because you don't have a bow to aim precisely with this, when you play with a controller, you usually switch to keyboard, not entirely, but you usually at least press forward with your keyboard to be sure that you face in the correct direction. But for him, since he always plays with mouse and keyboard, it's very easy. So he did that very quickly. But yeah, it's pretty, because with this game, the joystick in this game, when you play with the controller, one of the difficult thing to learn to do in this game, and I'm not even joking, it's actually running straight.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
impossible to run straight when you have a controller. But he doesn't have this problem with mouse and keyboard. So
So what parts of the run then are easier with mouse and keyboard for Old School? Like, what advantages does he have? Like,
I don't think it gives him any. Well, I guess the advantage is that when you play with controller, there are some parts where you will use mouse and keyboard because it's more consistent. So I guess he doesn't have to do like the the mental challenge of switching control scheme in the middle of your run and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't think like quitting out or menuing stuff like that. I mean, you can also do it very, very quickly with the controller. And also, Dark Souls has a lot of downtimes, times where you're in the elevator, crossing a fog gate and stuff where you can do your menuing, so you don't lose time with the controller either. But yeah.
I gotta say, this is, I know it's like slower than Old School's personal best of 1:02:35. It's actually not a bad paced run.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
With
gonna
like
be-
his best
Sorry.
event time is 1:09:07.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is gonna be a better event time. It's gonna put him ahead of Dan, actually, and ahead of Max.
Ahead of Nax as well, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he will be the first.
Well,
Dan.
if Gwyn goes well, because if you didn't see, like he just gave up on RTSR because he didn't get good RNG. But yeah, but see, it's fine because Gwyn usually jumps away. So yeah, he just went the route of not caring. Like if you don't get good, if you don't get RTSR, then you can also just not care and just do it without
It was
RTSR.
a bit scary. It was a bit scary, but Old School manages to finish it off with a
Nice.
104.24, putting him in first standing for a Break the Record Live event. That's actually pretty good. I mean, I'm sure he probably has complaints about the run, and it was a little bit scary not to get artist art there at the end, but
Definitely.
it's definitely something for everyone else to compete with. This is fantastic. But I'm actually going to be handing it over now to Bowie, who is actually back from their break. And I am going to be dipping out for a short while, and I will see you all later on in the events. But continue the commentary. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye, Ash.
Bye, Ash.
Bye.
Cheers, Ash. Thank you so much indeed. Great job, great job. Yeah, Ash will be back later. Do not worry. I know. I'm not Ash. I never will be. But I'll do my best to look after Red and Capitaine while she's away. Yeah, great stuff from Oldsku getting that cheeky PB. Let's jump over to another one of our runners then. Whilst we're doing this, let us have a look at, because it's another no reset. Let's just jump in with Mintius again and make sure we can see how that's going for them. As Oldsku just stares blankly at the screen, deciding what they're going to do next. I like that, like the post run, just like, oh, what happened? Oh,
Post run dying inside because it was not a new PB.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, but no, still pretty good. Obviously, we need to see how Nax comes in first when they show up. But so far, looking pretty good. 2 more runs to get done for the no reset. Gentoffer currently doing 4 kings. We were discussing earlier how it is quite a tricky run, a tricky fight. Obviously, it's like one HP bar for like all 4 kings. So you want to try and clear it before the second, third, and fourth start spawning. But it's very positional based. You want to make sure you're not too close, not too far away. And I believe this is also why we have the dex build come in as well. So we have like the casting speed is just right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
level. He barely missed it.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunate. But yeah, you do level 45 dexterity because that's when casting speed for spells caps out. So you have the fastest cast you can do, at least with this stuff. I believe casting speed between stuffs is also a bit different, but you don't really get a faster stuff in this run without losing too much time.
So I think it's kind of an interesting point to talk about. I mean, whilst we haven't got any kind of major fight going on in terms of strats right now, we should probably talk about the stat build, because stat builds are a thing that exist in RPGs, and it's very important, if you can do it, if you have got an open build. So the thing we want to look at mostly is attunement, which obviously gives us access to more spells, intelligence, which is magic damage, dexterity, as you say, cast speed, and I believe there's a little bit of strength for equipping, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think
kind of
need 1 point in strength to be able to carry your shield.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and you need the shield for Calamite, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of, I know it's kind of one of those straightforward things that we can get a metric F ton of souls. We want to kind of dump it into the most important stats. So kind of was there a bit of a routing process on board that kind of got us to say this is the amount we need for this point, and how did the actual experience route kind of go? Because I know that obviously it's blown out, the souls are blown out to the water thanks to duping, but was there some kind of process to figuring that out, or was it one of those ones where, I mean, this probably came from previous some releases of Dark Souls as well versus this one, if you remember that far back maybe.
I mean, usually the way it works is not really stats. Stats is not that important. The more important is how many casts you're gonna need to kill a boss. So if for example you with 1 dark bead you take 60% off a boss, then you're not gonna be able to one-shot that boss by leveling up more, because there's no way you can get the 40% remaining. So that for that boss it's gonna stay at 2 casts, and then you just see what is the minimum amount of stats that you need. So you still kill the boss in 2 casts, and then you usually think about thresholds like that. So for example, you're gonna have 4 kings, where if you don't have enough, then you just end up having to do 2 kings instead of 1, and that's a major time loss. But some other bosses, maybe it's I have to cast an extra time, but it's fine because there's no RNG involved or anything with the boss. You just literally press R1 an extra time. And so here it's not too important if you have an extra hit or not. And so usually you think about thresholds like that to see which I can do, which I cannot do.
Speaking
and
of
then
which,
you route from there.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I mean, Sif is a great example of the soul mass, being unleashed just to drop off half the HP from Sif here to kind of like mitigate the extra casts of the more like linear angled shots. Like soul mass is quite good for that because obviously it homes in fairly well, but it means that Spear doesn't have to be so precise because Sif's a very evasive boss. So yeah,
It can
open
be.
up with We've seen Sif spin and spin.
Yeah, so what he did here is the reason Sif was a bit weird at the start is because he ended up quitting out at the Sif door. And you can or not do that, depends what you want really. It's you get different RNG basically, like a Sif will face differently. Like if you don't quit out at the door, then when the fight starts, Sif will be facing you and he will sprint at you. But if you do quit out, Sif will be facing away from you, and so it's technically faster to quit out at the door, but you get pretty weird RNG. But the thing is, Sif is pretty RNG anyways, so it's kind of up to you, whatever you want to do.
So a few things to kind of clarify, maybe for some people who, again, maybe are newer to Dark Souls speedrunning, or are just curious anyway. So, you'll be hearing the commentators, mention RTSR, the red tear stone ring. Specifically, what that does is that it increases damage output by like 50%, I believe it is, when your HP is below 20%. So you can see that's why our runners are always on low HP. So right now, if you have a look at Mintius, low HP, he's got that red aura around his character's body, which means that the RTSR is kind of like in play, and it not only affects like raw damage output, but also specifically sorcery and spells. So because that's the main source of damage, it kind of like they combine together to create an even larger increase in damage output. If you were to say be using the RTSR with like physical weapons, so it's a nice approach to kind of like build together multiple mechanics in the game that makes it so possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like magic on its own is really not that strong in Dark Souls, but you just combine it with RTSR, which is like a almost double damage after resistances, with Bellowing Dragon Wrist Ring, which is a 20% damage boost, and the Crown of Dusk, which is a 30% damage boost, I believe.
Yeah.
And it just boosts the damage so much, it just becomes a really completely overpowered damage output you see in this run.
And thing is, like, that's what's really exciting about, like, I mean, as an RPG speedrunner, that's what I really enjoy about routing and kind of building together, turn-based or action, regardless of how you're doing it. It's like, the mathematics behind the routing as well. Like, what resources do you need to grab here and there to make what you want to do possible in the tightest way, and being able to kind of like figure out how damage multiply. Oh, no, not how damage multipliers work, but rather the damage formula is: do things stack additively or multiplicatively? Like, what are you trying to stack together to get the best effect for the minimum amount of time spent getting it? So obviously the souls that we can multiply to get to get the stats we've given to hit those thresholds, as you guys were talking about, is important. But then also things like your equipment and accessories to help that happen. And I think it's a really interesting part of speedrunning that maybe some people who are used to the non-RPG approach maybe sometimes don't think about how it's such a huge part of routing for these kinds of games.
Yeah, like the variety is pretty big, especially on the original, where you have a bit more freedom. Sometimes you get a new route that arrives that is completely different. Sometimes you have to think like outside the box and just go completely crazy. And that's tough for.
Didn't dodge in time. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Mintius he's laughing it off at least. He's having a good time. There's probably a little bit of salt in there, a little bit, but.
Yeah, so that's a rough death if you don't take the bonfire, because you have to run all the way from Dark Roots. So that's like 4 minutes, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can switch to Catalyst that is about to do ONS.
Yeah, we can jump over. I can click on that for you. We can go and do that whilst Mintius just runs back. So let's have a look at where he is right now. Current record holder right now, 102. He is actually running against his world record splits now. There we go. So we will know if he is on pace, and that is a gold, it seems, as well. Cheeky. Big fight though.
Gold on RTSR segment. That's surprising, because You don't do much on the RT-Star segment. Oh, he gets, yeah, that's really, really good RNG for. Oh, never mind. I shouldn't say anything. Okay, still pretty good, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Was
it's
that a bait?
really
Anymore.
annoying how Ornstein doesn't even try to dodge your attacks, but he dodges it anyway, like just by either walking or turning around, or like he doesn't even try and you miss. So
It is kind of part of the great heavy and great soul arrow is that they are your angle does matter, so it's kind of important. I was going to actually ask. I'm not sure like the specifics in terms of like particular either baiting or manipulations, but yeah, they kind of like baited him to kind of like dash all the way down like into the way of basically right in front of him to kind of like path in the big hits to kind of get that first 50% done. Is that kind of a specific bait approach, or is that just one of those like got lucky with with?
No, it's a specific bait. Like when you start the ONS fights, you can just look at what Ornstein is doing, and if he decides to do a dash, then you just go on the left, and he will almost all the times because there's always the 1% meme, but he will fairly consistently go to the left.
Sure.
And be very far away from smoke, because that's the thing you want to do. You want to separate them. You want to have Ornstein alone, and that allows you to just cast without worrying about smoke catching up. But unfortunately, because the spells don't stagger like Ornstein in one hit, even after the Great Soul Arrow, sometimes he will jump away, or sometimes he will jump away before. Like it's still pretty RNG for this route, but the way he dealt with the opening was not RNG. He dealt that like he knew Ornstein would dash on the left, basically.
Yeah. So just quickly as well, I have to do my usual paperwork. We're coming up to 4:15 in Europe. So we are just going to quickly jump to a short 3-minute break, and when we come back, we'll be continuing with this. I'm just going to confirm that no one's at like any super exciting part of the run, just so we don't miss anything that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, just going to jump away for 3 minutes, and then when we come back, we'll be continuing. We're about, I want to say 3 hours into the day now. We've got plenty of stuff to go. More casters will be joining us throughout the day, but don't worry, Red and Capitan are staying with me for now. I get to talk to them a little bit more. So don't go anywhere. Thank you very much for watching thus far. Thank you again, of course, to our sponsors, Kaspersky and Twitch. Yeah,